it's cool that we have our guest speaker from Brazil. It's great that we have the technology to do that, but there's a reason why we're doing that. As you know, every year around Christmas time, we as a school take on a Christmas project. And this year, it's our desire to be a blessing to two different missionary families. I want to read here Philippians chapter 4. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to Philippians chapter 4. And verse 14. Philippians 4:14 says this, is Paul speaking, "Yet it was kind of you to share my trouble. And you Philippians yourselves know that in the beginning of the gospel, when I left Macedonia, no church entered into partnership with me in giving and receiving, except you only. Even in Thessalonica, you sent me help for my needs once and again. Not that I seek the gift, but I seek the fruit that increases to your credit. I have received full payment and more. I am well supplied, having received from Epaphroditus the gifts you sent, a fragrant offering, a sacrifice acceptable and pleasing to God. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in the glory of Christ Jesus." So here's Paul talking about being blessed by the gifts of others. But not only is this just a gift toward Paul and his ministry, but it's a gift to the Lord. We want to be a blessing, and we want to supply the needs of some of these missionaries that we've come in contact with, that we supported, that have contacted our school. And so this year we've chosen two missionary families. And the first of the Rast family here in Brazil is welcome them to our chapel. So what you see on the screen here are Joel and Cindy Rast and their youngest son, Christian. And I understand you have two other children not here. Could you tell us about them?
Right. We have a daughter who's a senior. Her name's Grace, and she's taking a test. And we have a son, Alex, who's in 8th grade. He's also taking a test. We have mean teachers down here.
But mean teachers only in Brazil, not here.
Right. Only in Brazil.
Okay. Well, Joel, you once were here. You taught here at Rock County Christian School. Tell us about some of your memories here from Rock County.
I taught at Rock County from 1994 to the 1995 school year, and I was able to work with Mr. Beefus and Mr. Mulder. Are they Mr. Mulder? Is Mr. Mulder still there? Alright. So, I really enjoyed teaching here, enjoyed the students a lot. I remember coaching soccer. I think one of my best memories was playing football with the kids out in the parking lot. And I remember there was an ACSI conference where we kind of went out there. The teachers went to this ACSI conference down in South Bend. And so then we started playing some touch football. And I remember Mr. Beefus, Mr. Mulder, they were good. I don't know if they've slowed down any, but they were good in those days. And we had a lot of fun.
They have slowed down quite a bit. But Mr. Mulder will be here forever, is what we heard. So tell us, how long have you been in Brazil? What and talk to us a little bit about how God led you from here to there. How did you get from A to B?
Well, it was a part of our plan. When we got married and decided what we were going to do with our lives, we thought, well, we're going to go and we're going to teach in public schools. And very soon after we were married, we had the opportunity to come down to Brazil just for a year, just to help out the school, just as kind of a fun adventure. Well, what began as a fun adventure turned into God just really putting a call in our hearts to come back to Brazil full time. So we lived in the States for 6 years, and that's when Joel taught at Rock County, and we also lived in Madison. And during those years, God just really started changing our plans, changing our desires to come and be overseas full time. So we've been here 11 years.
What are some of the biggest differences you've noticed between life in the United States and life in Brazil?
Well, one of the unpleasant things here is that really we don't live in a safe city. There's just a lot of robbery. I would say most of the houses, maybe all except for ours, all of the houses on our street have been broken into and robbed.
I said Brazil, not Beloit.
Beloit is bad. Come down here. But anyway, yeah, we had our car robbed at gunpoint, and that was a number of years ago. We did get another car. One kind of a funny thing is our city, São Paulo, is kind of a mixture of modern with not very modern. So, for example, we might drive down a street here and have cows walking down it. We might have a guy go by on a horse, and then drive past a really nice car. We've got all the modern things plus some of the not so modern things.
Okay, how many of you know how much a gallon of milk costs in Wisconsin? $2.39. Okay, guess how much money it costs in São Paulo? $8.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
now,
a lot of things are really expensive here.
now you guys will be thinking of questions you might want to ask, and if we have some time, you guys can come up and ask the questions that you have. We want to answer some of the questions on your sheet as well. But tell us, with your ministry in Brazil, what's a typical week like? What are you doing throughout the week there?
All right, my week is in some ways very similar to what I did when I was at Rock County. I'm teaching, I'm coaching, and in addition to that, one thing that the Lord has gotten us involved with just recently is an orphanage. This is an orphanage with about 25 kids. It's about 45 minutes from here, and they're really struggling. I can go into more details later, but they're really struggling right now, and so our family has really tried to get involved and help out in any way that we can.
Here's a question for Christian. Christian, what do you like to do in your spare time? Well, tell us about school and what you guys do over there for fun. Just like you guys when I asked you guys a question.
I'm in first grade. And I like to draw.
What's the name of your school?
Papa.
He's going to tell you guys a story about something we have at our school that I bet you don't have there at Rock County.
We have monkeys at our school.
Can I tell you guys one funny story about the monkeys?
Sure.
Okay. Normally they stay up in the trees, they stay away from the kids. If anybody gets too close, they run away. But one time, last year, they actually came into a classroom, and there were a number of them, 5 or 6, and 2 of them started fighting, and they were really attacking each other. There was actually blood, monkey blood on the ground. The kids started screaming. The teachers jumped up on the desk, started screaming. And one of the workers from the school came in, and what I heard from reliable witnesses is that he grabbed the 2 monkeys that were fighting by the tail and slung them out the window. He just pushed him out the door, and then they all ran off. True story.
challenge where you have monkeys attacking each other. But what are some of the other challenges you and your whole family face?
Well, I think one of the hard things is just living in it's just a huge city. It's about 20 million people. And the crime is really an issue. Like, when we leave our gate, like, our house is surrounded by a wall, and we've got broken glass and nails at the top of the wall to try to keep people out. So when we go out to walk on the street, you're just always aware that you need to be aware that, you could get robbed or something could happen. So that's probably one of the challenges. It's just, to be honest, it's a really ugly city. And so, those bumper stickers, Escape to Wisconsin, we understand why Illinois people always want to go to Wisconsin now, because it's such an ugly city. It's really nice to be able to get out. So that's some of the challenges.
The opposite of that question, what are some of the things that you really enjoy about your ministry there?
When you guys come down to visit us, we have a special type of restaurant. It's all you can eat meat. They bring lots of different types of meat out, and then they cut it off through the skewer, and they give you a piece. It's really, really good. And then you eat that with sushi, and it's delicious. Oh yeah, ministry? Oh yeah. Brazil is a great place. People are very, very friendly. Other than the people who try to rob you, it's very, very friendly. When we make mistakes in Portuguese, like we do, they're very friendly about that. They try to speak their English with you all the time. So Brazil is a great country. It's beautiful, and we enjoy living here. If we could just find a way to feel a little bit safer, it'd be even better.
We've had a request for you to say some things in Portuguese.
Ok. Aqui no Brasil, nós gostamos muito de futebol, churrasco e marcados.
There's something about soccer, that's our guess.
Yeah, you're right. I said, here we feel like soccer, barbecue, and monkeys.
Is there anything you miss about living in the United States?
I miss my grandma and grandpa.
The other thing that we miss a lot is root beer, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew. They don't have those in Brazil.
Well, those are interesting things to keep in mind. It kind of leads us into our next question. We're preparing we want to be a blessing to you. We want to send you some things. What are some things that you'd be looking for? What can we do? And I realize as I'm talking, you can't see my head. But what are some things that we can send you that you enjoy to be a blessing?
We love American candy, and so you can see Christian's face. That's like worth its weight in gold down here. Brazilian candy just isn't as good. So that's one little thing. If you guys want to think really big, we need to redo our whole roof. All right, so if you guys want to come down and help us with that. I don't know if you want to. They use these special type of tiles. I don't know if you can send those down here, but candy, peanut butter, and American pop is awesome. What else? Christian says Wii games.
Are there any particular candies that you prefer?
What do you like? Orbit gum is really good. I like Nerds. The candy. Reese's peanut butter cups.
Do we have questions you guys want? We have just a minute or two. If you guys, or any questions that you guys want to ask. All right, Harmony, come on up. All right, Harmony, come up right down there. And you can speak real loud and ask a question.
Yes, we do.
All right, Harmony, get some
I'll
dollars.
just show them to you. Orange colors.
Yeah, the dog.
We're gonna try to show you the dog.
How to get the dog.
Did you hear that?
Yes. Do we have any other questions? All right, Heather, come on up. And then, well, this Heather, then this. Actually, tell them your name first and then ask your questions.
Hi.
I've been wondering, has it ever been hard for you to keep your faith in God? Like, has there ever been any times?
That's a really good question. I think that, there have been times we've gotten discouraged. There have been times when we wondered what God is doing. We have a friend that was working with us at the orphanage, and she died from cancer, and we prayed and prayed and prayed that God would heal her. And He did, but by taking her, back to heaven. So that was really hard. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that was tough.
Good question. All right, we have another Heather. So you can mention you've been there.
Okay, so I've been to Brazil and I have family who are missionaries down there. And I was wondering financially it's really hard, especially with healthcare, because they have kids and then their school, they wanted to homeschool, but they don't know how. So I was wondering if you guys have support from the United States or, anything from that helps you or anything, and I guess so what should
Who are your relatives in Brazil?
I had Doug fever, and then I knew the Campos family. Let's see, there was Joaquin Campos and Michelle Campos, and they had they adopted a few kids, and they were actually cousins.
Wow.
So, and I've been to SCP and Rio de Janeiro, so
Wow.
yeah, so I kind of know what it's like, but I was wondering, what mission in the United States supports you guys?
Yeah, we're with, it's called BEA Ministries, it's Brazilian Evangelistic Association. And so we raise support. We have a church in South Beloit, Daystar Church. Pastor Allen, they support us. We have a church in Gainesville, a church in Madison, a church in Washington, D.C. That they all send support for us.
Yeah.
All right, we've got kind of running a little time. We have one more question here. Our student RJ, come on up, RJ.
Besides, other problems you guys have there.
Problems?
Yeah, besides,
Things are really, really expensive, so that's one problem. Let's see.
One problem is not really a problem, but like next year when our daughter goes to college, just telling her goodbye and having her go off to the States and us stay here, that's really hard. It's really hard to think about. So that's the other thing of being here that I guess is challenging.
Yeah.
All right, we want to thank you very much, and I've been asked to tell you also that feel free next time you're in the area to come and visit us, so we can say hello. And but before you go, we have one last question. What are some specific prayer requests that you can give us that we can be praying for?
Okay. We mentioned the orphanage, and I mentioned how there was a couple who was working with the kids, and her name was Marcy, and she passed away a few weeks ago from cancer. And so we just really asked for prayer. The name of the orphanage is Lar Efrata Orphanage, and they're really struggling right now because you have the husband who's there trying to take care of all the children. He has people to help them now and then, but really all the responsibility falls on him. So other than that, we just ask you to pray for our ministry here, that God would use us to impact students' lives. And I don't know, because this is for our future. Cindy mentioned that our daughter's going to graduate, and so that's, kind of a prayer request. How should we, how to deal with that?
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us here in Beloit.
Thank you.
But what you had questions on your sheets, and my purpose there was that you would start thinking about, once we send these guys our package, what could we be sending? What were some of the specific things? Candy, okay. Soda. Now you also heard okay. You also heard another need. So we can't send a roof. But maybe we could start to think about some ways, maybe we can raise some money, or, but that's something we've been praying about. We have a little bit of time before we need to send things out. So be praying. We have one more family we're going to try to talk to. You might remember a couple of years ago, they were here, the Corley family. Lance Corley, they're serving in Russia, and we're going to try to Skype them in as well. They are, 9 hours ahead of us? So it's night there when we talk to them. So that'll be interesting. They'll be a little tired. But he came and spoke in chapel just, I think it was about 2 years ago. So we want to support them as well. And we'll keep you up to date.